Hi, we're speaking with Josephine, and she probably is one of my most knowledgeable customers I've ever dealt with regarding mycotoxins and mold. And we treated her house, and she was going to do a testimonial for us. So I just had a few questions for you, Josephine. How long have you been struggling with mold sickness?
Well, I think I've probably had it for 20 or 25 years, pretty much as long as we've had this house. Uh, at first, I just thought I had migraines and vertigo and generally felt bad. Um, Eventually, I figured out that I had mold growing on the wall by the head of my bed. Turned around, saw some black stuff there, touched it, and put my hand through the wall, and found out that the shower on the other side of the wall didn't have any waterproofing behind the tile. So, so that was in the late 90s, I think, that we finally figured that out. And so then we did a remodel, tore that wall down, moved the bathroom, did all kinds of things, but didn't really understand what needed to be done for mold at that time. So I remember I took chlorine and I washed all the 2x4s. There were still the bare 2x4s sitting there. And now I know that all that does is pisses the mold off, and it just sprays its mycotoxin, it increases its mycotoxin output if you do that. And I guess also the water in the chlorine itself stays there in the wood and makes it even damper. So then about 5 years ago, or 5 or 6 years ago, I started really getting sick. And it took me a couple of years to get myself tested for mycotoxins with the real-time tests. At first they came back completely negative, and then when they came out with the new test for gliotoxin, I did that, and that was off the charts. So it took persistence in even considering this as a possible source of why I was sick to get to that point. So then I think I did an ERMI myself on the rug by our bed, and that came back just full of aspergillus and mold that could produce the gliotoxin that I was evidently having inside me. And then I did a more complete testing of the house, and we've we found spores and mycotoxins, and then I started shopping around for how to treat the house, because my doctor made it very clear to me that if I didn't treat the environment, it wasn't going to do much good to treat my body. And I got a number of bids for the more standard procedure for dealing with mold, being encapsulation and sanding, and really getting rid of any area that has mold in it, but also having to go through all my objects that I've accumulated in a whole lifetime. And so bids that I got for cleaning everything in the house and doing all that went as high as $90,000. And that was prohibitive for us, and also involved things that I basically couldn't even do, because in order to go through all my objects and throw out a whole lot of them, I would have had to expose myself to the mold or mycotoxins that were sitting in them. So I luckily heard about John, and I'm trying to remember how I did hear about you. So I think I talked to you on the phone, and you told me about this new process that involved fumigating with chlorine dioxide. and that I wouldn't have to throw away everything I owned. So that was pretty appealing. Um, my first step was to contact my doctor and say, is this a safe thing to do? And he said, yes, it was. So that was pretty exciting. And then the other main question was, is it effective? And it, you know, from everything, so John told me about the results he's had with taking people's mycotoxin and mold levels down to safe limits. So I got the okay from the doctor and we did it, and it took a weekend and was a very undisruptive process compared to the alternative. So I'm pretty excited about it.
Can you tell if the remediation process has helped you feel any better in any way?
I definitely am improved. I'm not there yet. Yeah, I think it's been 6 or 7 months since we did the original treatment on the house. And I believe that I have 20-25 years worth of mycotoxins collected in all the fat cells in my body. So I have been told that I need to be prepared to spend easily a year or two getting this stuff out of me. And if I pull it out too quickly, I get toxic and feel really lousy. So I can only do it at the pace that my body can tolerate it. I assume that means that my liver and kidneys are able to clear it from my bloodstream as I pull it into my bloodstream from the fat cells. But there are symptoms that I do not have anymore. So I don't have things like vertigo, tinnitus, double vision, numb. I used to have like numbness of my right arm, and I would have tingling and numbness in various other parts of my body, all kinds of neurological symptoms in particular. And I had a lot of digestive problems, and they are less, they can be totally gone. Like I used to have nausea all the time. I don't have that. If I pull too many toxins, then it can get to my digestive tract because it irritates the digestive tract, the spores do. But there are just a whole array of symptoms that I don't have anymore. The two that I still have are that I still get fatigue if I try to go too fast, and I feel this kind of vibrating feeling at night that I think is pretty common, that is also some kind of neurological experience. And I would say there are probably a bunch more symptoms that I don't have that I'm just not thinking of, because there are just so many odd symptoms just keep coming and going. I mean, at one point my left leg swelled up, you know, just all kinds of things get very weird. And so the fact that I'm down to 2 or 3 symptoms, I think is a big deal.
Yeah. Post-testing, did the post-test come back to a level that you were happy with in your eyes?
Absolutely. I mean, it borders on miraculous when you see these really scary levels just gone so quickly. You know, it makes me sort of do a double take. You know, did this really happen? You know, can this really be as effective as it is? And I think it's wonderful. I just think it is such a more easy to deal with methodology. The other ways of doing it are so difficult that I know that lots of people just can't face it at all and just stay sick because it's just beyond the capacity of particularly someone that's already very much debilitated, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
So would you recommend our BioClean system to others that are struggling with health issues due to mold?
Absolutely. I try to get people to realize how helpful it is. Just because it is so true that if you don't get it out of your environment, it doesn't do you any good to try and get it out of your body if you're still redosing yourself every day.
Thank you so much, Josephine. I appreciate your time and help.
You're very welcome.